Hello and welcome to Series 3, Episode 2 of the award-winning Stars in Your Ears! Coming to you live from our home on this desert island. Where we're having a bit of a redevelopment.
Come on, boys, the sun's going to set soon. We have to get this done before we lose daylight.
We know, Jess.
We're working as fast as we can.
I'm only thinking of you guys. If this doesn't get done before the sun sets, we're all in trouble.
Jess, if that's a shelter they're building, it looks a bit odd.
Oh, they're not building a shelter. That's Phase 2. Phase 1 is a statue of me.
Of course it is. And why is that Phase 1 over, say, where we can sleep safely at night?
Oh, Michael. Michael.
You're not going to answer me, are you?
I'm not, no. Aren't you boiling in that tuxedo?
I am quite warm, yes.
Why don't you take it off?
I might loosen my bow tie, but when we're rescued, and we will be, I want to look my best.
I don't think sweating in a suit full of sand is making you look your best, mate.
Even so, Jess, that statue is far too big.
Do you think? I think she looks wonderful.
Are those coconuts supposed to be your...
Yes!
We found the hairiest ones we could.
Just to make it realistic.
And they are. Thanks, boys. She looks beautiful, especially in this light. Michael, you can start the show now.
Oh, great. I've always wanted to record a podcast in the dark.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And statues.
And statues. Please join me in welcoming the person whose statue plaque I'm reading this of. The Queen of the Island, the Beauty of Land and Sea, the Woman of 1,000 Voices, give or take. Impressionist, singer, comedian, star of Spitting Image, and award-winning podcaster. Please welcome Jess Robinson!
Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review, or I'm coming for you in a canoe. It rhymes! I love to relax on my island home and admire this sculpture of me.
While we work our fingers down to the bone. I've lost one due to leprosy. I found it. I dropped it. All fingers down.
Welcome to the show. You're gonna hear stars in your ears. There's no better place to go if you wanna get stars in your ears. Stars in your ears. Stars, stars, stars in your ears. Stars in your ears.
Hey!
Great! Now the statue's been built, what's next on the list?
Might I suggest shelter?
Guys! I've had a great idea. We should build shelter!
Yes!
What?
That's a great idea.
Aye, well done, Jess.
Unbelievable.
So what I thought we could do here is really explore the space, probably knock down those trees, go open plan,
We're outside.
put in a kitchen island,
An island on an island. How novel.
maybe sand the flooring,
It is Sam.
and then just build up 6, maybe 7 stories tall. You boys could have the basement, and we'll get a lift of some sort, probably hire a lift operator. Oh, maybe there's a chimp around who could do it. Or Kitch. And then the job's a good un. How long do you reckon that'd take? 20 mins? 15 mins? Kitch, do you want to be site manager?
I'd love to, but I'm banksman on another job at the minute. I'm going to be chocker for the next 6 weeks.
Oh, that's a shame. Rob?
Sorry, same. I'm drawing up the blueprints for Kitch's extension.
His extension.
Yeah, I built a place across the way there. Casa Kitchin. Just a little semi. That's where me and Rob stayed last night.
What?
Oh, no, nothing happened. We just spooned, you know.
It was really nice.
Cute! Can I come? Sleepover?
Of course, more the merrier.
Oh, what can I bring?
Just yourself. Actually, some drinking water and any food that you've managed to forage.
Avoid those red berries from that tree there, though. They go right through you. I say that from experience.
I'll start searching now.
Sorry, let me get this right. We crashed on this island, and you built a shelter which is about to have an extension, and you didn't tell me about it, which has led to me sleeping the past 2 nights on the sand like some kind of wild animal snack, fearful for my life.
Yeah, that's about the gist of it. Do you want to come round? I mean, I would have invited you, but I didn't think it was your sort of thing.
You didn't think shelter was my kind of thing?
No.
Why?
You're wearing a tux.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, it just seems like you're too good to slum it with us. We thought you'd be out playing cocktail piano somewhere. It's why we're building an extension. Thought you'd come and join us if it felt a bit classier, you know.
Oh, Kitch, I'd love to.
Wonderful. BYOB.
Bring your own bog roll.
Do one, Deliveroo. jump off a cliff, Just Eat, and fuck off, Farm Drop. Queen Jess has come up trumps again.
Told you not to eat those red berries.
I haven't, but I have found something better.
What is that?
Found a wild boar. Managed to stun it using our British Podcast Award.
Wow.
I can't really see anything, it's too dark.
Are you sure it's a boar?
Not really. Shall we eat it and see?
I don't think it wants us to eat it.
Well, of course it doesn't. It knows it's delicious, probably. Or it's a vegan. God, they love lecturing people, don't they?
I think it's saying help.
Yeah, Jess, I don't think that's a boar.
What makes you say that?
Because from this angle, well, under the moonlight, it looks human.
Oh, that's just hunter's remorse, Michael. Come on, kill it. Put it out of its misery.
But it's wearing a t-shirt.
Trick of the light. Kill it.
It's wearing stretched denim.
I'm hungry.
It says I'm not a boar.
You're just hearing voices again. Kill it.
It's not a boar. It's...
She's a feminist political. How did we ever get her on this show? Looks out for Birmingham, fighting for the rights of every woman, and tells the Tories where to go. Went to Leeds University. That's where she studied social policy. Now she's here to make a stand, take the chauvinists in hand. Our favourite front-bench potty mouth and pee. But she won't. Downing Street is ready for you. Number 10. Husbands, kids, and kittens too. On the doorstep in your cape, red lipstick, heels and vape, and Boris tied up with your gold lasso. Oh, Boris.
So there we go, just something really low key.
I'm gonna play that every time I enter a room now.
Honestly,
Please
we're
do.
going to give it to you, and we think that you should 100%. How would it go down if you played that as you walked into the House of Commons?
Well, because you're not allowed to wear trainers, I'm thinking it's probably, having a theme tune to enter to. I think it would improve proceedings.
You could be the first.
So too.
There is like this thing that goes on to the sort of the sound feed when you're watching it online or you're watching it on the parliamentary channel, and it is just like, this is the Parliament channel, this is the Parliament channel, like that. And I think that would be a massive improvement on this is the Parliament channel.
I think it would. I think it would, but we won't write them for anyone, Rees-Mogg does
I'm very,
that.
very flattered.
No.
It's a good job that university rhymes with policy.
I know, right? Oh, there's a really wonderful little website called Rhyme Zone, which I spend a lot of time on.
Oh, you totally ruined the illusion. Is that how people write songs?
No, absolutely not. Actually, no, not talented people. Just for me and my mediocre ways. Welcome to Stars in Your Ears, Jess Phillips.
Hey, welcome.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You're, I think, probably the first proper person we've had on the show, but let's not tell anybody else or any of our other guests that. I think
Proper
we should
people aren't as
first.
funny though, are they? So
No,
it might be terrible disappointment.
I don't. That you already are exceeding all my expectations.
Thanks.
So we should first address the elephant in the room, which is that I am currently playing you on Spitting Image, and it's a very dodgy caricature, to be honest. But how do you feel in general about being imitated?
I mean, I don't mind it at all. In fact, I really, really like it. I think it's when I was told that I was going to be on Spitting Image, I literally, honestly, I was so chuffed. I was really like, and Caroline, who works in my office, when I was on a Zoom call with them doing a team meeting, and I told her, and she literally was like, "That's it. We can pack up. We don't need to do any more work.
You're significant enough to be made into a puppet."
She was just like, "This is it. You've made it. This is the beginning, middle, and end." But and when people mimic me, so I've been on like Dead Ringers a couple of times.
Yeah.
I am always really weary of the people doing a Birmingham accent, because very, very few people. No pressure, Jess. Very few people do it that accurately. It's like just watch Peaky Blinders if you want to know what we don't sound like.
Really? Can you?
Gosh, dreadful.
Wow. So I think I've still got quite a way to go. Can you give us a really brummie phrase that we could practice, or can you teach us?
Yeah, so people in Birmingham just say all right for everything, and all right is the highest form of praise. All right. So it means hello as well as goodbye. It means hello, goodbye. It's a bit like ciao, but also it is like my husband. If you were to say to him, "Do you love Jess?" she'd say, "Oh yeah, she's all right," and that would mean like she's my world. So we're quite a sort of downplaying people. I always think that if Birmingham had a tourist tagline, it'd be like, "Come if you want." Like if you're passing, you'd be welcome. But the things we say like "ta-ra a bit." That's how you say goodbye.
Ta-ra a bit.
Ta-ra a bit.
Ta-ra a bit.
There you go. You've got it.
Well,
that means goodbye.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up, and don't put too much pressure on yourself.
No, you've done it for me.
Okay. But we don't say, like, all of the things that people think that we say are largely based in the Black Country.
So bab.
We say bab. Oh yeah, we say bab
fine.
all the time. If you just say bab constantly, and you say for baby, you say babby.
Babby.
And so if, like, my mum would have described my children as the babby's bab. We also, there's loads of words that I didn't realise that we said that I thought were just in the English language until I went to university, and then I was like that. I didn't realise it was colloquial. Like, we say the word gambol, which means forward roll. But I was taught that at school. Like, that isn't like...
What, so you'd be doing gambols in the playground?
You'd be doing a gambol, you'd be gambolling. But because we've got the Commonwealth Games coming here, the commentators better say gambol.
Can you rename all of the different things, all of the different games?
Yeah,
Can you make them
exactly. Yeah, so ta-ra a bit is a thing, and babby. That's the babby.
Ta-ra a bit.
Babby.
Ta-ra a bit.
Ta-ra a bit.
I mean, you've
got a little bit of Welsh.
Yeah, I find that people, when they mimic my accent, like when people just do it in sort of normal life, they go really either Welsh or Liverpudlian.
It is hard not to go Liverpudlian, or I was doing you the other day and I went Australian. So it all goes wrong.
Also, I have a really deep voice.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, I have a really deep voice from years. I started smoking when I was 10. So that probably is the reason.
I was going to ask if you've always been that way or if it was a lifestyle choice.
Yes, it was definitely a lifestyle choice. I thought at the age of 10, what I really like is for people to mistake me for a man for the rest of my life. Yeah, so I smoked fags, but also I had operations on my vocal cords when I was a kid.
Did you?
Really?
Yeah, so I had really, really severe laryngitis for many, many years. I was in a choir when I was a kid, and
in the
my
basses?
Yes. And I had to, my voice goes very regularly because I have poorly vocal cords, so that's another reason that my voice is deep. And I thought to add on to that,
Yeah.
I'd smoke 20 Benson a day for the entirety of my teens and 20s. I thought, this is the way to really hammer this home. So that is why my voice is really deep. But people frequently on the phone think I'm a man and call me Jeff.
I get Jeff quite a lot as well, but not through people thinking I'm a man, just through people mishearing I don't know what. But that's amazing. So if someone was learning to do an impression of you, what 3 words would you use to describe your voice then?
Deep.
Yeah.
And sing-songy.
Yeah, it is. It's got a nice lilt, hasn't it?
It goes like that. Like I went to Holland. My brother used to live in Amsterdam, and I find that they sound a bit brummy to me because they're like in the sort of undulation. A bit like people in Birmingham are a bit sing-songy.
Yeah, I like that. I think the depth of your voice gives you a bit of automatic gravitas, and I wanted to ask you, when things get all crazy in Parliament and everyone's shouting over each other, I know that loads of female MPs in the past have been dismissed as, you know, sounding hysterical or being mocked for screaming when their voices are literally just higher than the blokes in the room, and then they're just like everybody else trying to be heard. Have you ever had any personal experience of that?
I mean, I get told off for shouting quite a lot. I am one of the shoutiest members of Parliament. I am incapable of, and like there's often this rhetoric that gets put out, especially about female MPs, like, oh, it's not an environment that women like as much because it's so shouty and a bit boisterous. And I just think I am entirely one of the worst people. And I mean, so it's really hard not to shout, like like really bad swear words at times.
Have you ever dropped the C-bomb?
Yes. Oh, wow. I mean, I had to sit opposite George Osborne for ages. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But John Bercow, when he was the speaker, I remember this one occasion, and it's I mentioned George Osborne because of this, because it sticks out in my mind. It was either the autumn statement or the budget. It was the one where he held up the little red book that John McDonnell gave him. Well done, John McDonnell. Like, everybody was like shouting, and it was the chamber as it normally is for an event like that. And John Bercow stood up and said, like, if anyone shouts anymore, I'm not going to pick you to speak. And I was like that, you know, really, really shouting. And then he just picked me straight away because he just really liked me. I mean, I think it's just favouritism, so I sort of got away with it, but the new speaker, less keen, I think, on the shouting.
Right. What do you think about the way that women are treated? Is it very different, the way that women are treated in Parliament? Yeah,
it is completely different. But, I mean, for years, so like people like Harriet Harman have had to, when she was elected when I was 2, so in like 1983, they had to have a different way of showing gravitas. They had to be serious. They had to be constantly serious because they wouldn't be taken seriously. And so there was this element of women politicians having to be really, really serious, whereas men are much more allowed, actually. I mean, the standard for comedy in the House of Commons is literally the lowest of the low, and sometimes people will make a joke.
I don't know, I've seen some dodgy Edinburgh shows.
Everybody will laugh, and I just think I genuinely don't get that. I don't know why anyone is laughing at this. But women aren't given that same space, definitely, or certainly weren't given that same space, because you have to be taken seriously because you've got to jump over that bar. I definitely don't feel that I can't make jokes and be irreverent about the place, but that's only because those women did all that work for all those years for women to be taken seriously, that I'm allowed to shout and scream and be funny if I want to. Women are definitely still treated differently. Women are still expected to, when they speak in the House of Commons, they are expected, I think, to have a different standard to the men still today.
So hard, isn't it? Because women that have been called shrill or being called nags or fishwives, or, you know, for speaking with the same power but a higher voice. Also, you will get that very, very gendered language. No one has ever referred to, like, one of my male colleagues as
told them to check their tone. My tone gets policed all the time.
Does it?
Yeah, once by Priti Patel, she said, I don't like your tone. And I was like, well, I don't like rape, so live with my tone.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Yeah, and I've had male politicians going like, shh, putting their fingers on their lips and being like, shh.
Oh, my God.
And doing this like, oh, calm down, like, sort of thing. To which I just was like, did you just tell me to be quiet? I was like, don't shush me. And I don't wait for proceedings to stop. I will intervene at that point. I also once told a male politician, I was like, you're not my dad. Don't get to tell me to be quiet.
Stars in your ears.
Oh, hi, Jess here. Do you love us? Because we love you. If you do love us, it would be really cool if you would donate to us on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Jess Robinson, you can donate £5, £10, £20, £1,000, and it will help us keep making these things, and you will get some lovely stuff from us, like free tickets to live shows, bonus content, a hug from me. I shouldn't say that really. Mum told me I shouldn't hug strangers, but still, you're not my strangers, you're my friends. You can get a private masterclass. You could get a song written for you or a mate or your mum. What I'm saying is, go to patreon.com/Jess Robinson and donate to us. You can make a one-off donation if you like. And in return, you will feel great about yourself and get nice things from us. And we will love you. We will be best friends forever. Yeah? Thank you, bye.
Stars in your ears.
So when you're making speeches in Parliament, do you get nervous?
No. I have a really weird quirk where I'm nervous after something has happened.
Right. The adrenaline sort of catches up with you.
Yeah, it catches up with me at that point. I used to be nervous, but like anything, if you practice it, it gets easier.
Okay,
But no, I always feel like, also, after the fact of saying something, this is definitely because of the sort of culture of media, is I think I will go over the things that I said, especially the things that I said off the cuff. That I'll think, oh fuck, that's the thing that's going to come back and get me.
That's hard.
Like, you know. So afterwards, I often feel like, oh God, like, but no, not before. I never feel nervous when I stand up to speak, but I tend not to speak about things I don't know about. Lots of there's sort of different ways of being a member of Parliament, and there are some of them that are just total political animals who stay in the chamber all the time and will speak about literally everything from like hedgehogs to like nuclear defences, and I don't do that. I only speak when I've got something to say. Do you know what I mean? Like I will, like, I have to be quite cross to stand up in the House of Commons and say something, and so that is what powers me through, and I don't feel nervous particularly. No.
So how does it feel to be the voice not only for your constituents but also for so many women who don't have a platform to speak for themselves?
I mean, it feels pretty ace, to be perfectly honest. It feels like... I remember in the first year of being elected being like, God, I've been saying this stuff in the pub for ages, and now people like write it down when I say it. Like, this is amazing. It feels... It does. I was about to lie. I don't know. I was about to give you a load of platitudes. I don't know why I was going to do that, but like I was going to say, it feels like a burden of responsibility, and you know, that is sort of partially true. And it's a privilege. These are the things you have to say. That I've been taught to say. But it just feels like power, and I like that. I like the feeling of the power that it gives me, and when people come up to me and are like, you know, you're the reason that I can keep going, or thanks very much. Like, a lot of the people I speak to are people whose families, whose daughters or sisters have been murdered, and they will get in touch with me and just be like, thank you so much. And that is like, you know, it's motivating as much as it's, you know, I'm often talking about hard subject matters, but yeah, it's motivating. So I like it. I like the power that when I speak, people will listen. That's why I went to Parliament, not for lols.
Wow.
There's not many lols.
Not many lols.
No, not so many lols in Westminster.
Well, let's have some now. Let's do some. I'm going to give you some quick fire questions now.
Okay.
Okay. Which MP has the poshest voice?
Oh, there's one whose surname is Drax. Can't think of his first name, but he's almost inaudible. When he speaks to me, there's like a delay, like we're on a long Skype call from a distance. I'm like, I think this is what you've said. Okay.
It was just so slow.
Robert Drax, I think his name is Robert Drax.
I'm gonna have to look him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which MP has the loudest voice?
Kevin Brennan has a very loud voice. He's Welsh, but I'm going to say me.
Yay! Which politician has the most irritating voice?
Oh, without question, Gavin Williamson. Oh, God. It's like your skin crawling.
Which MP's voice makes you zone out whenever they start speaking?
Most of them. Oh God, there is some really boring ones. Liam Fox. He's very boring to listen to. Oh God.
Last question. Am I right to imagine that Boris Johnson smells of Old Spice, shoe polish and pork pies?
It would make him considerably more interesting than he is in real life, I'm afraid. He doesn't really smell of anything, I don't think. I've never noticed him being fragrant or repellent. It's hard to get close to him, though, not because he's the Prime Minister, though, but because if I approach him to chat with him, he literally jumps backwards in horror.
That's so funny.
He's nothing at all the way that he presents himself at all.
Right.
At all. And I don't know whether this makes him more appealing or less appealing, but he is awkward in real life. Very, very awkward.
What percentage would you say of MPs in the House of Commons are real people, normal, would you say?
A much bigger percentage
us.
than you think. Much bigger percentage than you think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
much
reassuring.
More. I would say 90% of members of Parliament go there to do the right thing and change the world and make the world a better place. Whether you agree with the way that they think it should be made better or not, they do it with. They do it with the right heart in most cases. No, most of them are normal and they just like drink cups of tea and
that's reassuring.
And, like play with their kids at the weekend and most of them are like that.
That's reassuring
Good
to
to
know.
know.
That is good to know. Yeah.
It's Jess's impression session.
Jess Phillips, it's time for your impressions lesson.
I'm so rubbish at I can't even do an accent. My husband's like, are you meant to be an Indian? I'm like, no, it was Geordie.
That's a common one, though. I'm going to teach you how to do an MP with a very distinct voice, like yourself, although quite different. It's Theresa May. Now, before we start, can you tell me, did people used to mimic her in the bar after Prime Minister's questions and stuff like that?
I mean, people, not as much as Boris gets mimicked, I would say.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, well, Boris is really easy though, isn't he? My younger one, who's my youngest son, who's on the sofa having a day off school because he's ill, he does an absolutely bang on Boris Johnson.
Amazing.
Absolutely pitch perfect. I would go and get him, but he will not perform for you because he is 13. And you will get nothing out of him. But but I don't know that people actually mimicked her voice so much.
Her dancing?
Oh yeah, definitely her dancing. And the coughing.
Yeah, that was bad. So with all the impressions lessons on this series, I like to break down the voice into a few easy steps, and then by the end of it we'll both be doing a really ropey impression which sounds vaguely passable at best.
Okay.
So the first thing you've got to do to be Theresa May is you've got to take your voice to the mid-register. So for me that means going a little bit lower, and you need to go a little bit higher, and hopefully We'll meet in the middle. So in your mid-register, could you say, "Welcome to my voice coalition"?
Welcome to my voice coalition.
Lovely. So the next thing you've got to do is put on your best Westminster accent. So we've got to get the vowels. So in your Brummie accent, how would you say A-E-I-O-U?
A-E-I-O-U.
And now can you do it like Mary Poppins?
A-E-I-O-U.
Oh, that's very good.
Nice. Very good.
Oh, do you know who you sound like? Mariella Frostrup.
Oh, fine. I've got to talk to her later.
Oh, lovely. Well, there you go. There's one
gravelly
impression
voice.
in the bag.
Yes. A-E-I-O-U.
Yes, that's right. Could you try a sentence with that Mary Poppins-esque voice? I'm just going to paste it into the chat there.
Oh, hang on. Jacob Rees-Mogg likes to eat cake in the bath. In the
In the
bath.
bath. There you go. Beautiful. Fantastic. So your voice is now, so you're in the middle range, you've got the accent. The next thing we've got to do is go a little bit nasal. So could we say strong and stable?
Strong and stable.
Very good. And now, with your nasal voice, you've got to add a bit of a sore throat. Brexit means Brexit, and we're going to make a success out of it.
I can't do the nasal bit, I think, is the bit that I found hard. Brexit means Brexit.
Yes! This is brilliant!
good.
I just sound like the Cookie
Excellent.
Monster.
It's amazing who else comes out when you're trying to find someone. I once did I was trying to do Hillary Clinton once, and I ended up, just for a moment, doing the most accurate Trevor McDonald. I don't know how it happened, and I've never been able to do it since.
How funny.
It's like The Exorcist. These voices just come out sometimes. So now, if we've got the nasal voice and we've got the sore throat, could you add a cough in as well and try this sentence here?
David Cameron. So I just sound like the Cookie Monster. David Cameron didn't leave me any cough sweets.
Very good.
I just sound like a posh Cookie Monster.
No, you sound well. Maybe so does Theresa May.
Maybe.
So for your finale, I would like you with the coughing, with the nasality, the
the
sore
nasal
throat.
bit.
Could you read us this lovely phrase as Theresa?
You can dance. You can jive. Having the time of your life. See that girl. Watch that scene, digging the dancing queen.
Very good.
I cannot ever remember to say dancing.
Dancing.
The dancing queen.
Excellent. Fabulous stuff.
Wow.
Honey, listen close.
Listen close,
Cause
baby.
this is where I really need ya.
I need you.
If this is your bag, then give us a tag and post on your social media. Please rate us, validate us, show us how much you care. Hit subscribe, give us stars out of 5, and don't forget to share. Thanks.
Jess, where can people keep up with all of the things that you're doing?
I mean, Twitter, I suppose. I mean, just the Parliament channel.
Okay. And for people who want more of your glorious voice, you've got a podcast, haven't you?
I have got a podcast.
Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so it's sort of like, it came from the lockdown, and I had this just horrible day. So in my constituency in the first lockdown had the second highest death toll, and so in Europe by that standard, because obviously the UK suffered worse than most places, and I had this woman, lovely northeastern woman who had basically locked herself in her house because she had been exposed to the virus, and her husband had been taken away, and she'd put him in an ambulance and never seen him again. That was literally the last time she ever saw him, and he died suddenly, and she was so frightened about exposing her children to the virus that she basically sort of locked herself in her house, and her kids were getting in touch with me, and I was speaking to her on the phone a lot, trying to sort of get her through it. And I just, on that day, I was just like, I'm going to just write a letter to my husband and my children to, just in case this happens to us, like, you could just get carried away and no one will, and you just don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I wrote them a letter in case of that happening. And I told my best friend, Jess, who's also called Jess, it's just
All the
people
best
of a certain
people are.
age, all women born in the early 80s are called Jess or Amy. And my parents thought they were being really original.
Yes, I did mine.
Wrong. And I tweeted about that, and then the people who make it audio always got in touch with me and said, it'd be nice to get people to read those letters and say who they would want to write them to, because especially in a world where I live in, where you're only ever really called on to slag people off, there is a sort of nice moment to take time for people to sit and be grateful and show gratitude for the people in their lives, which we rarely do in life. So people come on and tell me who they, and I basically, it's like my power move, and also I'm just really good at getting people to tell me their secrets as well.
I could tell you anything.
Years and years of training.
That's great.
And partly, some of that is because of my accent, actually. People trust you if you have a regional accent. I mean, people are right to trust me. I'm not going around telling people their secrets. There is something about having a voice that people find comforting. Not necessarily comforting is the right word, but trustworthy. It's like quickly you get over the line from having a regional accent.
I'd tell you everything.
You absolutely
Not Boris,
would.
though. He'd run away by the sounds of it.
Well, Boris
Anyway.
Johnson's constituents come to me. So.
Now, Jess Phillips, every week here we throw the Island Impression Show, which is basically a sing-song around the campfire to stop us from getting isolation madness. Michael's wearing his tuxedo full of sand.
It's also got crabs in this week.
Disgusting. So what impression would you like to do? Last week, Samantha Baines did Cher, so that's what you're looking to beat.
Theresa May. I'll do
great.
Theresa May.
Okay, amazing. And who would you like me to be, Jess?
I would like you to be Marilyn Monroe.
Lovely choice. Very good. And we'll save the boys' impression as a surprise.
Okay.
Last week, they were the Bee Gees, which was amazing. I don't know what group they're going to be this week. I'm hopefully maybe Boyzone or Westlife, maybe Hanson. I'm on the edge of my log.
I mean,
I know.
What a choice that was.
All right, we're gonna
we'll see.
cross our fingers for Boyzone. Jess, could you please choose an out of copyright song for us to sing, please?
So I would like to choose This Little Light of Mine, which I believe to be out of copyright.
Thank you so
that's
much.
correct.
Then we won't get hunted down by PRS.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Please welcome my right honourable friend, Marilyn Monroe.
This little diamond of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little diamond of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, Daddy. This little diamond of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Okay, boys, it's your turn. Tell us, who are you going to be?
Tonight, Jess, we're going to be the Bee Gees.
What about Boyzone?
This big tan of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This big tan of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This big tan of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Jess.
Jess Phillips, thank you so much for joining us here on the island and indeed on Stars in Your Ears. We would be delighted if you would join us in Kitchin's shelter. He's just built an extension. It was for Michael, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind another night sleeping under the stars.
He does have his crabs for company this time.
No, thanhanks. I'll take my chances back in the wilderness.
You're lost, Jess. If I see you again, I will catch you and I will eat you.
Goodbye!
You've had stars in your ears. Whoa, yeah. Stars in your ears. Ooh, ooh. Stars, stars, stars in your ears. Stars in your ears.
Well, dear listeners, not only have you been sending recordings of your impressions to jessrobinson@gmail.com, which are wonderful and will be featured in future episodes, there's still room for more, by the way, but a few of you have also taken it upon yourselves to send in some desert island jokes. Well, 2 of you. And the boys have chosen their favourite to read for you now. Take it away.
This one is from Gary Shelford. Michael, Rob and Kitch are stranded on a desert island.
One day, a magic lamp washes up on shore. Michael rubs the lamp, a genie appears and promises them 1 wish each.
Michael says,
I wish I was back at my favourite cocktail bar in London, wearing a smoking jacket, drinking slow gin and listening to Ella Fitzgerald.
so the genie magically whisks him away.
Rob says,
I wish I was back in Brighton in my favourite bar, drinking an IPA while listening to Beyoncé.
and the genie magically whisks him away.
Then it was just Kitch left on the island. He says to the genie,
It's a bit lonely here now. I wish my 2 bandmates were back here.
Oh no, poor Kitch. Then what happens? Does he cry?
Well, that's the end of the joke.
What? Well, it's not very funny. It's more of a story, really, isn't it? Does he get his friends back?
Yeah, do I?
we explained it to you, Kitch, yes.
Oh, good.
Ah, phew.
I don't think you get it.
I told you.
Well, thanks for coming back, guys. I really love you.
I love a happy ending.
Right, let me explain this from the beginning. Oh, God.